Hello everyone, good afternoon, happy Sunday, August 30th. This time I got it right. Last week when Monday rolled around I thought that it was the 31st. Well, finally we are ending the month of August and we've got the start of September, October, November, one more month left in this quarter. So let's go ahead and get into the SPY. I hope you guys have had a good weekend. We had fun. Yesterday was my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. So to everyone that's out there celebrating, congrats on those that have made it that long. That is quite a feat. All right, let's bring it over. Oh, I wanted to show you something cool too. All right, so let's go ahead and look. We've got the SPY. If you guys have any issues, let me know in the chat if you guys can't hear me or any issues like that. But we've got the SPY. I said, hey, if we break that 340, I think we're going to test up to 350. Yep, sure enough, right on up 350.58. And when we look at it after hours, we went, let's go to our 24-hour chart here. After hours, we went up to 350.98, so almost up to 351. If we go ahead and we look at the futures, right? Now, obviously, these futures are delayed, but we went up to 350.067. So up to new highs almost, right? It said 350.0950 was the high, so a little bit of a pullback. But of course, we are hitting new highs from back in February. We broke above it. We had a bit of resistance there, a lot of consolidation, and boom, next wave up. Same thing happened back here, right? So if we look at it, we broke out back in September. We started seeing it in October, and here, let's just do a quick measurement from the time that we broke out. It brought us to 82 bars, right? To the downward turn. So let's look at it this way. Let's move over here. And let's, for fun, go, oops, excuse me, I wanted it from the breakout, right? Right here. So if we go from the breakout right here, and we go 82 bars, oh, back here, 82 bars, oh, right here. That's going to bring us roughly to December for potential downturn. Hey, John, thank you. Yeah, it's quite a feat, right, for them? And I've got this storm up. It seems like we've almost got the perfect storm setting up in the market. We also have the storm down on the southern shore of the U.S. that's definitely changing the price of oil. Also might be restricting some shipments of food and things like that. So looking at this, when we look back, if history repeats itself, when we set new highs, it was roughly 82 days. Let's go back and look even a little bit further, right? So from here, we had, this is back January of 18, pulled back, right? We had January of 18, we hit a high here, January to 185 days, 86 days. So I'm just looking for curiosity's sake, hey, is this going to end up being a GAN type scenario? Are we looking for a particular number of days? I know when we look at GAN and we go, hey, let's go and look at 144 days from the high right here. And where is that going to put us? I believe it's September 14th. So because GAN loved his mathematics and the stars. So if we go forward, where is 144 days? It brought us pretty much to where we are now, almost a little bit further. Let's see, 144, September 10th. So maybe 2 weeks, and we might start to see a downturn. We saw new highs. Here we are right here, potentially for this next leg up. Maybe a bit of a pullback. We came back to the 50 simple moving average, surge up, and then pull down, right? And we shall see. You guys know I do follow the dark pools. If you guys want to learn more about that, come on over to thedarkpools.com and /services, come to the training pit and learn all about it. That's where the really big guys go ahead and they hide their big trades, which is cool to see it in action. So with the SPY, If you guys didn't check out my video on Tuesday, check it out, why the stock market is bullish. There's always money being pumped into it, but it goes into a little bit more detail than that. So we might still have a nice little pullback. Let's zoom in. All right, zoom in right here. So here's our upper bound of this upward channel, right? We could go up, we could hit this yellow line right here. That was a support in the past. Maybe it's going to end up being a resistance. We might hit 352.80, and then we could pull back potentially down to 342 and have another wave to the upside. Wouldn't be weird. The biggest volume we saw was on the 27th. We are above that right now. So keeping that in mind, this looks bullish to us, right? We did have 3 white days up, a bit of a doji day, another 3 days. So we might start up, pull back, bounce, and then pull back down, and then continue up. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 3-day pullback coming up this week. Hello, Arky. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm totally bullish on the market. However, we do have those little bits of pullbacks within that upward trend. You can see that it happened here, right? It surged up, sort of went sideways, surged up. Maybe we're going to have a little sideways, surge up, sideways, surge up. I think we'll easily see 360 before we see a downturn coming. The Qs, craziness, right? The Qs have been rocking it, had highs on Thursday, higher than normal volume. However, when did we have that big volume in the past? We had it back here, and then the next biggest day was the day after. Obviously, we're above all that volume, so it looks like that was buying volume at this time. Right here as well. Big volume, right on our 20 SMA and 21 EMA. Looks like it was buying, and it seems to just be riding that up. It could be completely normal. Hey, good morning, blind trader. Good, thank you. If it pulls back to this 278.20 area, would still be in that upward trend. So I wouldn't get scared about that. The Russell, we've seen this one broke and downward trend. We have this trend line here of the highs that it's been testing lately on its way up. So is this going to go ahead and break from here and then have a nice move right on up to 167, which was our highs back here before we broke down, and then potentially on up? This was the support area for that upward trend. Are we going to have it come on up and test 173 before we move to the downside? A lot of people have been shorting the indexes while we are going up. Everyone is listening, in my opinion, they're listening to the news. They're not looking at the charts. This looks very bullish, right? It doesn't look bearish to me. We've hit a bit of a resistance over here, but we're still in that upward trend, and volume is now starting to come in. Apple. The split will take effect on Monday, so we will be trading roughly at 125 per share, which could likely have a new surgence of money coming into Apple. We will see what happens. It might drop down a little bit and then have a buying opportunity for people to step in at that lower price. Microsoft, we have a nice W right here, right? We came down, bounced, down, bounced. All right, we broke the resistance of the W and up we went. Could we come back? Yeah, we could definitely come back and test it, this lower bound right here, and then so on up, right? So I wouldn't be surprised as well. We had a doji day on Friday, massive volume on Thursday, and to me, Mondays and Fridays tend to be positioning days more for the big guys. So I'm looking at it in that way, and really Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday seem to me to have bigger volatility days. So let's go ahead and get into the potential longs and shorts, right? I have my watch list right here. I also have it over on the right. So I was going through and I was doing the short volume. I was like, seriously? 50% for Nutanix, 49%, 48, 47. I thought, man, this is weird if VMware is 46%. Like, that's just an anomaly if that's the way it was, but it was 37%. And I've got my potential swings and shorts and everything right here. So let's go ahead and look at potential longs, right? So I say potential because this had crazy volume, higher than normal volume. We're above the 200 simple moving average. And when you look back, we've got this gap to fill. Maybe a potential resistance right here at 29.40, and then a test over here at 30.30, and then here at 31.64. But other than that, we're up here. You can also see this area. This is my awesome 425. I love it. When it comes up to it, it sometimes will stall and go sideways for a little bit and then continue to the upside. So right now, NTNX had earnings better than expected by the market and continue to the upside. Let's go in, zoom it in a little bit. So I would look for that break, obviously 28.50. I'm going to even put 28.60 up here to the resistance level. And then right down here, I'm going to go ahead and do 27.60 for the support that I would like to see hold. All right, so 27.60 and 28.60. And this does have 182 million in the float, and it was 50% short volume. So 50% of the people were buying and 50% were... Yeah, Archie, let's go back. Let's look at it. Any particular time frame? I'll go back to the monthly. Maybe that'll be easiest. From bottom trend line from 2009. Let's go back to 1 month on the SPY. Okay, 2009. So let's draw trend line right here. You're talking right here. Okay. So right here, I would do it right here, would be where I would have that initial trend line. So you're saying, you're thinking that that might be where we end up going from here. Is that correct, Archie? Is that what you're looking at as a potential move and a potential pullback down here to 252? Is that what you are referring to? Or you're talking about drawing it to... Okay, you want it from, hold on, let's go back here. I'm going to make it a different color. Let's make it green, and let's make it thicker. Okay, so down here. And you want it up to the high up here. Okay, so we have two actually. So we have the bottom one that it looks like they've actually been respecting and pretty much bouncing off of. It did have a bit of a pullback down here to this downward trend line. You can see this acted as an area to bounce in 2018, a bounce to March 2020. So coming back, we might see tests if we pull back from here. Yeah, it's interesting how it did create that upward bound. So that is cool. I see that for sure. Let's go to a daily chart and pull it back even more. So you're thinking potentially 352.50, it looks like, if that's the area in which you are considering the top upper bound. So we shall see. It feels like, we've had a lot of dark pool activity. Obviously, we're above it right now. So that means that it was all buying at this time. And we could come up here. We could go ahead and dance above it for a little bit. We hit it right here, almost the penny it looks like, huh? Let's zoom in. I love this zoom feature here. Almost, not quite, but we hit it to the upside here. So we shall see. That's pretty cool. Thanks for the suggestion on that trend line there. Okay, let's go to NTNX again. Back to NTNX. We did NTNX. Let's go to Workday. And I will adjust it and bring us to the future. All right, so Workday. Crazy volume here. Obviously, we had a move up, had earnings. First day, second day, big move to the upside. So I would go ahead and see, hey, are we going to potentially pull back to the moving averages and then shoot up from there? Or are we going to go ahead and break out, right? This had earnings, had higher than normal volume this week, and looks like it might have that potential move to the upside. So I want to go ahead and put it right here. We have this doji support area, 242.92. We're putting it back down to 80 right here, 242.80, and to the upside, 248.75 right there, that high. Let's go ahead and put 248.80. We'll put up there. All right. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, but at the present moment, Archie, I think that we are going to potentially see 360 before we go lower. We have some time to move forward, and they're talking about all of the potential. vaccines. Not that I really listen to the news or use that with my trading information. I'm just looking at the charts, right? So here we have Dell, again, a W set up much like Microsoft with the resistance that was right here. Boom, we broke it, breakout with earnings, very nice. So higher than normal volume. You can see we've had higher than normal volume a lot lately here. Once last earnings period. And what did it do? It traded sideways for about 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and then surged up again, pulled back to the moving averages. So if it pulls all the way back down here, that could be a major drawdown. So we'll see. Anything is possible in the market, and that's why you need to be nimble, right? So keep that in mind. Be prepared either direction, and set yourself up for success. Create that roadmap, the trading roadmap, your plan to move forward, just like you might do when you start a business, right? This is your business, so treat it properly. So $65.50 and $67. We did have the spike up here, but that was right at open in the first half an hour, so it could have just really been a bit of a short squeeze, and then it pulled back. We had this nice support that every time it broke below, buyer stepped in. So really looking at those bounds. We also have Marvell Tech to look at. Crazy volume, right? Higher than expected volume back here. Last time we had volume this high was right here, and we are above all of that volume. So this looks like it has that move to have a potential breakout. Again, we broke this resistance from right here, roughly that 37.80 area, and it broke out. So next level to look at is going to be up here at 39.50. Would really love to see that, and then clear skies. Once the news starts saying, hey, this market is going to continue to this upside everywhere, that's when I feel that the market will go ahead and pull back. Right now, it's just going to continue on up, just trucking away, right? So 38.40, let's bring it on up. 38.40 up here, and we'll tighten this up here. Looks like we had a nice area right here, actually even more down here. 37.70 right here. That really acted as support, and then it broke up. It was really 38.25 area, but we want to see it go ahead and break to new highs right there. So 38.40 to our upside, and 37.70 as our support. Hey ASIP, how's it going? I still have to get back to you on that email. I will. Alright, so VMW. You can see also somewhere, somehow, I had that, which is pretty cool. I had that on the chart, and that's where they took it. I don't know where that came from. Likely it was from back here, where it was a resistance or support area from the past. And look at what it's hitting. It looks like every time it comes up to my 425 EMA, it's pulling back, pulling back. This time it came up to it, and it just closed above it. Much like we saw that happen to FedEx, maybe we're going to see it continue to the upside. So let's go ahead, let's tighten this. I want to see it break 148 to the upside. And for support, put it right here, 145.40. Up just a little bit. Right there. So 145.40, oops, and 148. All right, so let's get into some potential shorts. Hey Jacob, yeah, I'll add Nvidia on there. We'll look at it for sure. I did message TradingView. I said, hey, I need to see about adding this button. I don't like every time. I like the pop-up window, the search window. I like that better. It made it much easier. Right, so I gave them my feedback. We'll see. Might take it with a grain of salt, or they might go ahead and make a change. So you guys can see right here, it looks like we're in an area pretty much of consolidation. We had bigger volume. Volume is starting to pull back, and it looks like the averages might curl over. It has not happened yet, so you need to wait, right, until it's curling over. And we had 3 days of resistance. It bounced up, pulled back, some more support here, and then it broke above, As soon as it broke up, the next day it pulled back. So definitely keeping that on watch. And Lowe's is also trading very similarly. They have almost the same chart. I think Lowe's pulled back a little bit more. So I would look at it, let's pull, maybe tighten it up even a little bit more here on the, yeah, I'm going to pull this up just a little bit more. Look even at 285 and 289. All right, for our support and our resistance for Home Depot. All right, let's look at Lowe's. So let's pull it back on our daily as well and see. All right, so it had that consolidation, but it bounced up a bit higher after earnings, and now we had those 2 days where it just went up and came right back down, just like with Home Depot, and now it seems to be going a bit more to the downward side. Seems like Home Depot might curl down faster than Lowe's. However, anything is possible. It just looks like Lowe's still has a little bit more upward momentum to it at the moment. All right, and until the chart tells you, just wait, right? Okay, so we've got 166 and 163.80. Another potential short is Big. Now Big is somewhat lower float. This does have 38 million in the float, and so you can see when it has big moves, it'll happen fairly quickly because it is on that lower float range. It's not less than 20, but less than 40, even less than 50, I would say, is like that next threshold for me to look at. So keeping that in mind, it can move fairly quickly, like it did on Friday. Just can boom, bounce, and then found a support down here. Seems like the support even was up tighter at 49.80, but I will pull it down 49.40 area because we want to go ahead and see that break. The buyers took it up, and somebody or an algorithm was holding it right here, right? And it didn't go ahead and break out. So they might be buying it right there too, which also happened on Walmart. Let's look at Walmart as well from Friday. I don't have that on my list, but just one to watch. I think Walmart has a potential move. We'll add that once I get to my swings. I'll put it right here. Add it on my swing list. There we go. All right. So you can see Big might pull down the next level down, 48.20 area. If that fails, then 45.50. Yeah, Archie, we can definitely look at AMD. Not a problem. Just because I don't like it personally doesn't mean that I won't look at it. Happy to look at it for you. All right, CRM. So CRM had crazy couple of days, right? And we see this day right here. Look at what happened. We had the chairman, CEO, selling off 827, and 826 the CTO sold off, the CEO sold off on the 26th as well, so they are trimming some of their profits. Now remember, anything is possible. They sold at 273.61, 268.79, 73.61, so he sold right up here, and 69, so he sold some more right here. Could be selling for 101 reasons. Hey Cam fam, welcome. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat. We'll try to get to them. So looking at that, it's interesting. If we're going to go ahead and close below where the CEO is selling, 268. Oh, here's another one. 268.10, 273.61. So let's see, he cleared a good 8 million, maybe 8.5 million. And when I start to see the CEOs trimming their positions, it makes me speculate that maybe, well look, he was even selling just before earnings on the 25th, because maybe he didn't know, obviously the insiders know what's going to happen, but he didn't know necessarily how the market was going to react. So he, in the past week, has cleared $11 million off of the stock. Something to pay attention to, right? You can also be selling for 101 reasons. Maybe he's getting divorced, he has kids going to college, he wants to invest it in something else, he wants to go ahead and buy a new house, he wants to just have some cash on the side should everything crumble, he could just be setting up a contingency plan. So keeping that in mind, if he was buying, that can have much more weight. Let's see, we did have buying back here. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't show it. Maybe he was exercising options and then they went ahead and they sold it off. So seeing all of that, he is really rocking it. Just rocked a nice $11 million, chump change, right? So if we go ahead and we close below that 268, I would really watch that. And we had a doji day on Friday, and we are still up above. We could pull back to this 259. They might bring it down a little bit further to the 250 area and bounce it up. It feels like it might have a pullback before going forward. However, the market's going to do what the market wants to do. Just be prepared, right? So let's go over here. It looked like we had resistance, support, then resistance again, and resistance again. So we really want to see it break 273 or 268 as our support level. Yeah, I will add SQ. And everything's monetizable. You might like something that I'm going to talk about on my longer term swing as well. And SLGG. All right. Then we have Dollar Tree. This is the final one for my potential short list. So this did have earnings. It gapped up and then it pulled exactly, CamFam. Exactly. Purchases are more indicative because they're putting their money back into the company. Whereas selling, you can take with a grain of salt, but we also know that Bezos just sold off $3 billion of Amazon, and we're starting to see some of the really big guys go ahead and potentially take some profits out. Could just be coincidence, or I know Bezos did it roughly 10 days before the market crashed last time, so just something I'm starting to track and see. 93.80, let's pull it back down just a little bit, 93.80 and 95.50 to the upside for Dollar Tree. All right, so let's go ahead and get into my potential longs, right? I've got graph here. Everyone's been talking about electric cars, right? So with the electric cars and self-driving cars, what do they need? They need that technology to go ahead and get into the car and go ahead and have eyes, right? What is the sensor technology? I forget the name of the sensor technology, but Graph is in the process of buying Velodyne to go ahead and buy them as a private deal. So Graph already has it. They're buying Velodyne, and so they're going to be one of the top players for that electronic motion. So looking really for it to break above 2090. I do have a holding in this, so I will disclose that to you guys. I like it, and I'm looking to see if it can go ahead and break to the upside right here. Would like to see it go ahead and break out and hold above, and then really surge up. Now Graph, as far as, let's go and look at Graph. Whoops. Graph. It'll show us the total number of shares in the float. So this is lower float as well, 17.5 million. They only hold 120,000 by the insiders. So keeping that in mind, this does have some pretty wild moves, and it is lower float, so it could surge up. But when we look at it, it goes up, pulls back to the 20, up, pulled back to the 50, up. If it pulled back to the 50, we're looking at a $3 pullback to the downside. And if it screams up, this one could run to the upside fairly quickly. I mean, the average range on the days, this opened at 20 and had a high. So it has a average true range of roughly $2 to $4. Not every day. This is a smaller day and you have a doji day, but it looks like we've had some consolidation right here. And it could be primed for that next wave up where it's gone ahead, it held above and it closed above it. So it did close above this resistance level and wasn't able to break 2020 or 2090. with volume. However, the volume is somewhat picking up. All right, silver. So silver looks like it might be ready to move to the upside. We shall see, right? So we've got the resistance areas just for this consolidation. And when we go ahead and we draw a trend line here, we're on the cusp, right? Doesn't mean that they're not taking it up to sell it, but we might see this could be wave 3, if you guys study Elliott wave. So we might be going 1, 2, 3, right? And if 3 is the big wave, this wave right here brought us, we'll say, $10, right? So even if we add that $10 move from right here, $10 bring us roughly to 35. So maybe we're going to have a move up to 35 in silver. When we look back to see what happened way back in 2008, yes, it surged up and then it pulled back, broke down to 8, and then flew up to 48. So that one might, if we're going to have that same sort of motion, let's see, running right up into it, into the crash, it was up at highs in February, and then it pulled back and dropped more than 50%. So not sure where we're going to go, but we could have a big move setting up on this one. It does look bullish at the moment. However, it has not broken out from that trend. We tested it, WDAY, we will see. So potentially a longer term swing here. Okay, another one. Who was it that mentioned everything's monetizable? So we have the Millennials Thematic ETF. All right, you guys want to see what's in this? MILN Holdings. This one is a nice little tech one. It's got some things that are quite important moving forward in doing business online, right? What do you need when you do business online? Well, you're going to need ways to pay. PayPal, Square, Apple, Spotify, music. Pretty much I think everyone loves music, right? Lowe's. So Lowe's does look like it's pulling back a little bit. Right now that's roughly 3.4% of the assets. Facebook, Amazon, eBay, Lulu, and Home Depot. So this is looking fairly strong. Let's go look at PayPal and Square as well. I know you had Square on there. So PayPal does look like it could be setting up for that further breakout to the upside. Let's look at Square. So Square looks like it's had strong resistance right up here at 160. Every day that it's open, it's pulled down except for this day. So would look for it. Is this going to be consolidation or distribution right here? We've got this area right here. So I would like to see that really break above 160 or break down below 149.50. I'd pull it down just a little bit more. 149. Leave it with that round number, or 149.50 and 146. So looking at MILN, it's a nice little ETF. What I like about it is it does have 3 million shares in this ETF. So it could really surge. It's breaking out to the upside, and it does have a nice potential continuation move to it. Not overly expensive to be holding those shares in the index altogether for it. And then we have Walmart, right? So Walmart had earnings. It pulled back. Let's go look at our 15-minute chart here. So it pulled back. Actually, let's go to my 9-minute chart. I love this chart now. It's my new favorite one. So it pulled back and really just sort of found support, it seemed, down here. 138.20. When they brought it down, they brought it right back up. Brought it down, nope, buyers took it up. Nope, taking it up, taking it up. Okay, so 138.25. It was resistance over here. So maybe whoever was selling over here is now buying. Boom. Where do we go? To the upside. My upward target for this, for holding it into next week, to take partial would be up at 145. All right, let's look at Nvidia. All right, Nvidia screaming up to new highs there. Let's go back to our daily and look at it. Pull these up. Nice breakout, right? We broke the resistance right here at 115 or 116. Surge to the upside. Remember, when it pulls up, potentially that next day it pulls back. It did gap up here. And what does it do historically? When it has a big up day, it tends to gap up and pull back a little bit. So we might see that happen as well going into Monday. So I would watch it break above 526. 527, really. I would like to give it that extra dollar. And then I would like to see support for it to hold at 519. It's a pretty wide range, but we are talking about a $500 stock. All right, and AMD rocked it from this consolidation down here. Looks like maybe they're finding that range again, right? So up here and a bit of that range to right here. Just like they did back here, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, yeah, we broke it up, right? Well, I would look more on the wider range. If it can break 87 to the upside or 81 to the downside. 81 to the downside, you'll probably find another secondary test down here at 78. And then if it breaks 78, 75, if that 75 breaks, down to 69, and then down to the 50 simple moving average. Square, we went over Square just a little bit. So Square, it does look like it has that consolidation. And Bud, a little bit of beer, Anheuser-Busch, is hitting the 200 simple moving average. And it looks like we've been testing, it keeps coming up, tested this moving average, hey, tested this moving average, pulled back a little bit, tested it, tested it, tested it, oh, next move up, right up here. So if we can break 60, watch for a nice $10 move up here. Actually, I'd watch over here to 66.25, and then on up 69.20, then onto that $70 mark right there for Bud. All right, and SLGG for the blind trader. So SLGG, what is this? Super League Gaming. Does not look very bullish at all. It looks like it's just in that downward trend right there. So this isn't necessarily one that I would be trading based on the price range. And it does look like it's just coming to the downside. The moving averages have crossed over and it's pulling down. And it looks like it found support roughly 177 here. It almost looks like a triple bottom, right? But it's not able to really break above. I don't know, is this one lower float? SLGG and stop. All right, so this does have 9.6 million in it. So it's looking, I mean, you can see all these moving averages are just sort of coming down, right? They're all heading down. Every time it comes and it tests this one, it pulls back. Tests it, pulls back, right? Once, twice, this was a low float runner, pulled back. Tested it, pulled back. Tested it, pulled back. And you've got bag holders. Every time that you come up, you've got bag holders that bought up here. They want to go ahead and sell. They want to go ahead and sell. They want to sell. They want to sell. So anytime it pops, all those people that were holding it end up selling it. Hey Chile, hey Randy. EAT. Yes, let's look at EAT. So this one, I'm not really liking Super League Gaming, but that, hey, somebody else might love doing that. You might be wanting to short it. All right, EAT. Nice. Nice, Randy. So let's see. Let's also look at EAT. What's the float of EAT? I feel like it's low float too. 36 million. So this, much like I was mentioning big as a potential short, EAT might have, you can see once it broke the resistance area back here, it really surged and it filled the gap to the upside up here. So are we going to be able to go ahead and break above it? I would look for a real break over 47.50. And then if it breaks 47.50, would look for that 50 test going back even further. Don't ignore further back on the chart because the computers pay attention to it, so you need to as well. So that 47.50 looks pretty strong, and then 50, and then after 50 looks like 51.50. So keep it on watch. Next one, Randy. It might also have a pullback. It might do this. It surged up so much that if it surged up, it might go like this. Let's see. here it looks like it just continued for 2 days in a row, so maybe it'll continue up and then it pull back and then another wave up. So we might see that it opens up here, it might pull back and then surge. All right, now let's look at Peloton. All right, let's Peloton. Ah, thanks, Chili. Oops, still on the drawing tool. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so let's move this up. So Peloton, you can see we broke it right here, broke the former high, went ahead, higher volume came in, people were probably shorting it. Peloton was an IPO. Also, I always forget the name of it. So Peloton, might be like the new electric car maker. Let's go, IPO EV Tesla. XPeng, so XPEV. So we'll look at that one next as well. So this, every time that it breaks that resistance, it tends to have a nice upward trend for at least 12th to the 23rd, a nice 11 days. Yeah, Randy, I like it. So up here, it pulls up, pulls back, up. So maybe we're going to see a nice move for the next 11 days up to the upside. So maybe we'll be heading up to up to $90 right here. Now Peloton as well, I feel like it's an overfloat as well, but I'm not sure. No, 196 million. But it still has large volume. Like if you look at the past 2 days, opened here, came back to the moving averages, and then it surged up, right? So would look for that break. I would bring it up 78, break over 78, and would want to see that resistance hold as support. So would like to see 72.20 hold as support right here. That's nice. All right, so that's it. If you guys don't have any other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up for today. I will be on tomorrow at 12:15. As always, thank you guys for participating. If you guys ever have any questions, just reach out to me at jane@cjanetrade.com, and gotta check out my new videos coming out on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Some really exciting ones coming out in the next couple of weeks, so check it out. Have a great afternoon. Bye.